Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale.
No nation, large or small, wealthy or poor, is immune to what this means.
If we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
Why should we study for a future which may not be there?
Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change.
I know it's here. You know it's here. We all know it's here. It affects all of us. California is burning, displacing thousands and destroying homes and businesses alike. Warm seasons there have increased by 2.5 degrees Celsius since the 1970s, which means drier land, paving way for bigger, more catastrophic wildfires. East Africa has been hit with a drought for the past 18 months, as temperatures have increased. Crops fail and cattle die, in addition to the lack of clean drinking water that increases the threat of cholera and other diseases. Our oceans have risen in temperature by 1 degree Celsius, and coral reefs are projected to decline by a further 70 to 90% at 1.5 degrees. If they were to rise over 2 degrees, virtually all coral reefs will be lost. Greenland's glaciers are melting 4 times faster than predicted, and if the whole of Greenland's ice sheet was to melt, it would raise the sea levels by 7 meters, flooding most coastal cities, which would cripple the world's economy.
People are dying right now because of climate change. And the climate will remain the climate, right? It's just evolving, getting warmer, the sea will rise and the temperature are rising, biodiversity is decreasing. So the climate will remain, the planet will change, but just the people will suffer, and biodiversity, animals, plants, they will suffer heavily the cost of the climate transition. The climate will remain a climate, it will just drastically change. People do not worry that much about it, and certainly they should worry more about it, if anything. So I don't think people experience fear as much as if you talk about terrorism, although terrorism kills much less than climate change. But I think climate change doesn't arouse people's worry as much.
There are currently over 40 million cars on the roads of Great Britain, which contributes to 34% of all carbon dioxide emissions, at over 124 megatons, which is roughly the equivalent of 18.7 million elephants, which is a lot.
Why do you drive an electric car?
I drive an electric car because it's cheaper to run, requires less maintenance. I bought it new because I needed the peace of mind of warranty, because I have a young family to look after, and frankly it's a lot more fun to drive than a regular car.
Is climate change something that worries you?
Climate change does worry me. A lot of the effects of climate change are not necessarily going to be felt by me, but certainly my son's generation and then his children, they are going to suffer the consequences of climate change if we don't start trying to do something about it now.
So I don't think anybody asked the young generation to act on climate change, but I believe that they feel this is an issue and they have to address it. So I believe they engage with it more than the older generation.
Tens, if not hundreds of millions of people living in coastal areas will be displaced. There's problems with crops, there's problems with species going extinct. Major catastrophe could happen if the temperature soars by a good couple of degrees.
So, even though you may not think that climate change is affecting you, it is, and in the future it most certainly will. So act now, do your part, and don't ignore what's right in front of you.